This is a Capricorn FM podcast.
Second hour of the show at 11 minutes after 7 on the Go Breakfast on Capricorn FM, Mpho side of frequency with Complexion and Mpho Mashita. So you're having a change of heart or a change of mind about the Covid-19 vaccine, huh?
Well, that's what we're asking this morning. We're talking to founder of African Alliance for HIV Prevention, Tian Johnson, joining us on the line. Good morning, Tian. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
We're great. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Tian, a few weeks back, we wanted to find out from our listeners to get their thoughts about vaccines, and we were asking them just to get their views. And we got really interesting feedback. I mean, there was a lot of conspiracy theories that they were telling us about, and they sort of believed those theories, but they still had questions. But then from, you working in the field, what observations are you generally making around people's attitudes towards COVID-19 and the vaccine?
Yeah, thanks for that. I think one of the things we've noticed is that there is certainly what we call vaccine hesitancy. And these are people who have genuine concerns, fears, anxieties around vaccines. And so what we've had to do with the advent of COVID is really pay special attention to how we build communities' confidence in vaccines. All the vaccines that we get in South Africa are really the result of world-class science. When they do come into this country, we have a regulator called SAPRA that ensures that these vaccines are of high quality and are safe and most importantly are effective. So it is really an important task and an urgent task, perhaps one which government needs to pay more attention to now, to look at how we message vaccines and vaccine safety and efficacy. But it is to say that communities have genuine fears and concerns, and these come from a historical context. So it's important to acknowledge those fears, concerns, anxieties, and to provide the evidence and the facts and not misinformation. And where leaders and public officials spread misinformation, we need to hold them to account.
Yeah. So it's a bit refreshing. I mean, making follow-ups now and just sharing with people that there was, this report that came out that says 67% of South Africans are willing to take the COVID vaccine now. Are they really changing their minds about the COVID-19 vaccine?
I think they are. The prominence or the public visibility of the work of our regulator, I think, will really go a long way to building that confidence. If you look at the HIV vaccine, these are vaccine trials that happen over years and years, sure, with thousands of participants. There's huge safety mechanisms built into the trials, and all of this work and investment is geared towards getting a safe, effective vaccine. But what we've always said is that if communities are not informed, aware, ready, and excited about receiving a vaccine, all of the investments we have made to getting to this point, whether it's Johnson & Johnson or AstraZeneca or any of the vaccine candidates, all of that investment will come to nothing if the vaccine does not move from that fridge into people's arms.
Yeah. Would you say it's anti-progressive to question the science at this point? I mean, I remember, I think last week I read an article about how the science authorities in the country that are very much involved in the entire vaccine and COVID-19 related issues seem to be arguing about the fact that the J&J is meant to be a trial, so this is not a jab. Why are we making it official as though it's a rollout? It's not a rollout, it's this and that. Like, it obviously leads to a person questioning a lot of things that are happening, especially around the science.
I think it does, and I think those public exchanges are unfortunate, but I also think it's important. Because one thing we need to constantly remind communities is that science is about learning. So the data does change, the evidence does change, and so we have to work with communities to understand this. That a fact which we knew a month ago, today has totally been blown out of the water. Sure. But that is because the science is moving ahead and providing evidence as we go. So if anything, it should give communities confidence that there's a level of transparency. We've never seen this level of transparency around data and science, especially with regards to how we got to the vaccine we do have. So the Johnson & Johnson vaccine remained a phase 3B trial, and that is a trial that essentially is looking at what does this vaccine do in the real world conditions. Because we know a trial is pretty much a perfect world, things are highly managed and regulated, but in the real world, what does this vaccine do and what does it look like? One thing I do want to say is that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is safe. It is safe and it is effective. There was not a single death and not a single hospitalization of anyone who took the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So we have an amazing vaccine candidate, but in order to ensure accountability, transparency, we need to ensure that we bring more and more vaccine options into the field.
Tian, thank you so much for your time. I think we're going to catch up with you next time just to follow up on the issue around misinformation and how the community in the country is just taking that. That was founder of African Alliance for HIV Prevention, Tian Johnson.
That was a Capricorn FM podcast. For more podcasts, visit capricornfm.co.za.